My Hero Academia is a popular shonen anime with a wide cast of recognizable and cool characters. And one place My Hero shines is in its wide cast of villains. Being a superhero show, its supervillains are varied and powerful. So today, we're going to take a look at these villains and their powerful quirks. Welcome to Otaku Binge. This is My Hero Academia Villains, Weak to Powerful. But first, some rules. As of writing this script, Season 5 of the anime has not yet concluded, so we won't be talking about any events in the anime or manga after Deku's fight with Gentle. Secondly, we'll only be talking about named villains on this list, and we'll be excluding the variety of Nomu throughout the series. With the rules out of the way, let's start our ranking with the weakest villain and work our way up to the heavy hitters. Starting off our list with the weakest villain is the broker, Euron. Euron is a C-rank villain who works alongside the League of Villains. He is a well-known name in the criminal underworld and has shown to be great at scouring the depths for villainous recruits. The reason he ranks at the very bottom is simply that his relatively weak quirk makes him a pushover in battle. His quirk, Muddiness, which allows him to give people 10 minutes of mild amnesia, may be good for business, but doesn't help much in a fight, hence why he decided to stay a broker instead of a fighter. In second place on our weaker side of the spectrum is Insmuth. This octopus is a one-time independent villain, and his quirk is Octopus, which gives him long tentacles, the ability to spew ink from his mouth, and a countless number of suction cups. He does have a bit of a leg up over Euron because of his physical strength.
You idiots just won't give up now, will you?
It was shown that he can pick up a fully grown adult with one arm and punch hard enough to break rock and dent metal. However, he is still laughably weak compared to some of the other villains on our list. Next up, we have Shin Nimoto, a member of the 8 Bullets. Nimoto is a C-rank villain and subordinate of Overhaul. Much like Euron, he's not known for his battle prowess, but his marksmanship skills. Being a former con artist, he knows how to psychologically mess with his prey, such as shooting the quirk-destroying bullet at Eri, knowing Miria would protect her. His quirk, Confession, forces anyone to answer any question he asks fully truthfully, making it perfect for guerrilla warfare. His marksmanship and intellect place him only slightly higher. Speaking of marksmanship, Mustard ranks next. Mustard is a C-rank villain who works as part of the League of Villains Vanguard Action Squad. His quirk, Gas, summons up a swirling typhoon of gas that surrounds him for as long as he wishes to emit it. However, he is not immune to his gas and must wear a gas mask to stop himself from passing out. Mustard can sense movement through the gas and has practiced his marksmanship to shoot through the thick cloud of gas.
How long you can hold your breath in this toxic miasma?
His quirk may not be the strongest, but his grasp on it allowed him to handle 2 relatively strong UA students while using it. He ranks low still because not only does he get affected by his own quirk, but he's also not a great hand-to-hand fighter. Moving on to Dedoro Sakaki, another member of the 8 Bullets. Dedoro is a C-rank villain, much like many of his 8 Bullets brethren. His quirk, Sloshed, is an emitter quirk that subjects people around him to symptoms of drunkenness, such as dizziness and a lack of balance. While it's unknown if it affects his quirk, he is shown to get drunk himself while using Sloshed. But even drunk, Dedoro is an expert knife thrower. This marksmanship is much more impressive than the previous 2, which ranks him slightly higher. C-rank villain Spinner is up next. Spinner is a member of the League of Villains and a big fan of hero killer Stain. Spinner is a rather capable fighter in close quarters combat and was able to fight on equal grounds with pro hero Mandalay for several minutes. Was able to swing around a giant makeshift sword that was the same size as him rather easily. He is also relatively smart, able to teach himself how to drive by playing video games, and can pull off different maneuvers without crashing. He ranks here because while he can fight on par with a pro hero, and is a great driver, he's still nowhere near as strong as many other villains. The only group on our list, Wolfram's crew, ranks next. This crew is made up of Swordkill, Daigo, and Nobu, a group of con artists and villains. Swordkill is Wolfram's second in command and has a quirk that allows him to cover his forearms in long blades.
You chose the wrong place to play hero, kid!
He was able to organize the crew to fight against the UA students and did relatively well, even sending Izuku over a cliff. Daigo has a quirk that turns him into a large beast with the strength to break the ground on the 80th floor of a building, able to keep up with Bakugo's explosive speed and survive a howitzer impact. Nobu can displace things with large webbed hands and is fast enough that his legs are blurry when running. Wolfram's crew are relatively strong individuals, however they rank here because Swordkill's lack of leadership skills ended up being their doom. If they had a better leader, they would probably be a bigger threat. Up next is 8 Bullets member Hajiki Tengai. This C-rank villain is known to be a great supportive fighter thanks to the handle he has on his quirk. His quirk, Barrier, allows him to create a large transparent barrier that is as strong as a steel wall. He was paired up with Rappa to fight Fat Gum and Kirishima, and the two of them handled the pro hero and UA student pretty well at first. But even by himself, he was able to stand up after the blow that destroyed his barrier. He even deduced that Fat Gum was charging up a powerful attack and tried to get Rappa to stop it. He's a defensive fighter and has a good handle on his quirk. However, because he's more defensive, he's not nearly as strong as he could be. Mimic takes our next spot. He is the first B-rank villain on our list. Mimic is not a hand-to-hand fighter and excels in stealth and espionage. His main strength is the impressive handle he has on his quirk, Mimicry. This quirk allows him to merge his body with any object and control it. However, he can't control something larger than a refrigerator. However, what sets him apart is when he takes the quirk-enhancing drug, Trigger. Under the effects of Trigger, Mimic can control anything, including entire buildings. This makes him a threat as he can block corridors, twist entire rooms, and separate heroes from the group. Mimic works well in a group, which is why we can't rank him any higher. Plus, without Trigger, he's not nearly as strong. The personal assistant of Overhaul, Chronostasis, is up next. Chronostasis is a B-rank villain and a member of the Shi Hasakai. He is shown to be a very intellectual and stealthy person, and he was able to hide in the League of Villains hideout without anyone knowing. He's also shown to be a great marksman, using a temporary quirk-destroying bullets on Mr. Compress to stop him from compressing Overhaul. Where he shines is in his quirk, also named Chronostasis. His quirk allows him to slow down the movements of anything his clock-like hair hits, either by a minute or an hour. He was able to pretend to be knocked out and slow Eraserhead down, so he couldn't erase Overhaul's quirk despite his fight with Izuku. He's also shown to have a tactical intellect, knowing to blindfold Eraserhead and trying to capitalize on Mirio's weakened state. However, much like some others, he's not so great with hand-to-hand combat, which keeps his ranking where it is. Next, we have to rank 2 characters together, Gentle Criminal and La Brava. These C-rank villains are a pair of criminals who are attempting to become famous by posting videos of their crimes on the internet.
Kindly put the cash into this briefcase.
Gentle is a capable fighter with an impressive handle on his quirk, and La Brava is a genius who was able to hack into the UA school security gates. Gentle's quirk, Elasticity, is impressive as he can make anything he touches elastic, becoming bouncy, stretchy, and bendy. He can even make the air in front of or around him elastic. He has a keen intellect, able to formulate an almost perfect plan that was stopped because of Deku bumping into them by accident. By himself, he isn't very strong, but when La Brava uses her quirk, Love, he gains a massive power boost. When in this lover mode, he was able to fight almost on par with Izuku and almost overwhelmed him. The two of them are very smart and know when to tactically retreat. However, he's still not a very powerful fighter, even though Izuku claimed that he was the hardest villain he had to fight, thanks to empathizing with his story. Moving on, we have Toya Satsuna, another member of the 8 Bullets. Toya is a C-rank villain who teams up with 2 other members of the 8 Bullets.
Please, everyone stay. I'll kill you all.
Toya has an impressive handle on his quirk, Larceny, which allows him to steal something off of another person at any time as long as he can see the item. He would lure enemies into a false sense of security, and then attack with his hidden knife. He was even able to overpower Sun Eater, the second strongest member of the Big Three. However, of the 3 Yakuza members that Sun Eater fought, he is easily the weakest, mostly thanks to his quirk being generally unimpressive in a fight. Following his teammate, Soramitsu Tabe is up next. Tabe is a member of the 8 Bullets and a C-rank villain who teams up with Toya and Hojo to fight Sun Eater. His quirk, Food, allows him to chew through and digest anything he comes in contact with, thanks to his immensely strong jaws. He was able to bite through Tamaki's tentacles and was seen as an effective counter thanks to his quirk.
Yum. Seafood.
However, out of these 3, he plays second fiddle to our next entrant. The Crystalline Crusher, Hojo, is one of the stronger 8 Bullets members. Hojo is a C-rank villain and teams up with Toya and Tabe to fight against Sun Eater. Hojo is shown to have a great handle on his quirk, Crystallize, which allows him to grow thick, durable crystals along his skin and even create weapons out of these crystals. Unlike Toya, who is the brains between these 3, or Tabe, who's a loose cannon, Hojo is the brute force. Hojo easily overpowers Tamaki, and even deduces how Tamaki's tentacles were filled with strong muscles and covered in shells. While his brute strength is not to be scoffed at, he's still only 3rd place among the 8 Bullets, and nowhere close to the strongest villain. The League of Villains' favorite big sis, Magna, is up next. Magna was part of the Vanguard Action Squad and a B-rank villain in Japan. She displayed a great handle on her quirk, Magnetism. Her quirk allowed her to magnetize anyone around her, men being polarized south and women being polarized north. She also carried around a giant magnet that allowed her to take advantage of this quirk. She was also shown to be relatively strong, able to knock Pixie Bob out with her magnet, and being able to dodge attacks from Tiger. She was even able to pull off a multitude of robberies and murders before her death at the hands of Overhaul. Her ranking here is to show that one's quirk does not determine strength, it's how you use it. And she had an impressive handle on her quirk. Up next is Moonfish from the Vanguard Action Squad. Moonfish is shown to be one of the most dangerous villains in the League, or the Action Squad. His quirk, Blade Tooth, allows him to harden, extend, and sharpen his teeth to become like blades. He's shown impressive mastery of his quirk, so much so that he doesn't even need his arms to fight. He likes to let loose a torrent of tooth-based blows from afar that leaves his opponent little room to breathe. His teeth were sharp enough to amputate one of Shoji's arms and break through Shoto's ice.
I'm the one who gets to slice them open!
He was even able to escape prison while constrained in a straitjacket, which goes to show his impressive quirk handling. Moonfish is labeled as one of the strongest members of the Vanguard Action Squad during their raid, and he deserves it. Our next entrant is known as the Hero Killer for a reason. Stain is next. Stain is a seasoned serial killer and A-rank villain, having murdered at least 17 pro heroes and crippling 24 more. Stain has shown that he has an impressive handle over his fighting style as well as his quirk, Blood Curdle. When ingesting someone's blood, the person is paralyzed in place, and this is fully based on what type of blood the victim has.
Goodbye, child. May your death bring about a better world.
He carries around a massive katana and plenty of other weaponry on his person at all times to deal with pro heroes and is shown to be effective with them. He was powerful enough to overpower Shigaraki and Kurogiri, as well as take down the durable speedster Ingenium. He was fast enough to dodge Tenya's Recipro Burst, able to kill Nomu even with punctured lungs, and even able to cut through Todoroki's ice attacks. Stain's pure willpower is the main thing that pushes him so high up our list, as he was able to take a hit from Deku's 5% Detroit Smash and keep fighting. Moving on to Wolfram. This con artist was able to lead a small group of villains through a well-thought-out plan under the orders of All for One. He was such a manipulative villain that he tricked people into thinking his crew were villains for hire while he tried to steal the quirk amplification device. He was also shown to be tactical enough to stay anonymous because he wasn't recognized as a villain by David Shield. However, while he is a tactical mastermind, his power lies within his quirks. He was born with the quirk Metal Manipulation, which is exactly what it says on the tin, allowing him to freely reshape any metallic material. but he also has access to a muscle augmentation quirk given to him by All for One, allowing him to increase his strength to similar heights as Izuku. Not to mention the quirk amplification device he stole, which increased his strength to the height of All Might. But even without the quirk device, he was a formidable threat and easily deserves his spot here. The gigantic Rikiya Katsukama is snagging the next spot on our list. He is a C-list villain and a member of Overhaul's 8 Bullets. His giant stature gives him enhanced strength, allowing him to fight toe-to-toe with the pro-hero Ryuko in her dragon form. His quirk, Vitality Stealing, allows him to siphon away other people's stamina and increase his size and strength at the same time as long as he is touching the person. However, much like Mimic, he takes the drug Trigger, which increases his power tenfold, allowing him to absorb stamina from anyone around him without touching them. Rikiya's sheer size and strength give him a massive power boost that took a crew of pro heroes and UA students to take him down. Next up is Kendo Rappa. Rappa is a B-rank villain and the final member of the 8 Bullets on our list. He is an up-close bruiser who fights with strong punches and no openings in his defense. This is thanks to his quirk, Strong Arm, which allows him to rotate his shoulder at inhuman speeds, letting him fire off non-stop barrages of bullet punches. He was able to send a hardened Kirishima flying, and later break through his Red Riot Unbreakable form. He was even able to stand up after Fat Gum's barrier-shattering blow. His strength and bloodlust, alongside his handle on his quirk, made him a powerful foe, and the strongest of the 8 Bullets, especially when paired with Tengai. From one brute to another, Muscular grabs the next spot. Muscular is an A-rank villain and deserves it, as his quirk, coupled with his bloodlust, is almost unmatched by any other. He is known to overpower and kill his opponents with no remorse, and fights with blinding speed and powerful punches. He also has a great handle on his quirk, Muscle Augmentation, which allows him to increase his musculature so far that it can't be contained by his skin. This allows him to break rocks with one punch and even send Deku flying with a single kick.
Blood is exactly what I wanted from you.
He can take a full-force blow from Deku's 100% Detroit Smash and stay conscious and surprise the young hero multiple times during their fight. Muscular's strength is not unrivaled, but it's hard to find another brute force fighter that surpasses him. Maybe not as powerful in the typical sense, Mr. Compress is ranked next on our list. Compress is a B-rank villain, as well as a capable and resourceful member of the League of Villains. He is shown to have impressive handling over his quirk, Compress, which allows him to turn anything he touches into a marble. He can utilize this quirk to stop chases by making rocks derail cars, by appearing under them or setting up traps with his marbles. He was able to stealthily capture Bakugo and Fumikage during his time in the Beast's Forest. He's also a master of deception, hiding the marbles that contained the 2 UA students in his mouth, while everyone thought they were in his pocket. He's a master of deception and is probably the resident expert in escaping and stealth for the League. We can't rank him any higher because his actual battle prowess is fully unknown, although we've caught a few glimpses. Moving on to Twice, a C-rank villain and a member of the League of Villains. He is a very effective supporting fighter thanks to his quirk, Double. Double allows Twice to create an exact double of something, living or not, as long as he knows the exact measurements and characteristics. These doubles have free will and Twice does not control them, although he is limited to only 2 at a time. His quirk is so useful that Overhaul attempted to hire him as a member of the Yakuza.
Another small fry coming right up.
He is also agile, able to dodge an ice wave from Todoroki. Twice is a major asset to the League and for good reason. His quirk and agility allow him to be a very powerful opponent. Following Twice is his good friend, Himiko Toga. Toga is an A-rank villain who can contend with pro heroes in close combat and is a master of stealth and deception. Toga is stealthy, able to almost disappear by clearing her mind and slowing her breath. She's also incredibly agile, has incredible reflexes, and is highly acrobatic, able to ambush Uraraka and Tuyu. She forced Bakugo on the defensive during their fight and was able to overpower Rock Lock. She's also shown to be an expert with her knives, both from afar and up close. Her stealth is amplified by her quirk, Disguise, which allows her to disguise herself as anyone else after ingesting their blood. However, she can't use the disguise's quirk. Toga is insane and fights in a way that shows that. However, her insanity is what keeps her in this ranking, since her whole style is stealth-based. Ranking right outside of our top 3 is Dobby. Dobby is the de facto leader of the Vanguard Action Squad and deserves this ranking. Dobby has killed over 30 people thanks to his quirk and his handling of it.
You make good fuel. Allow my flames to consume you.
His quirk, Cremation, allows him to generate intense blue flames from his body, which are said to be even stronger than Endeavor's. However, the overuse of his quirk starts burning up his body, as even his body can't handle the heat from his quirk. Dobby is tactical. He knew how to throw off Aizawa, while the hero fought his clone and knows it's better to fight at a distance generally. He was able to restrain Bakugo with only one hand and was easily able to fend off the Bakugo rescue squad. Dobby's intellect and quirk rank him here right outside the top 3, because if we could get past its weakness, his quirk could be one of the most powerful in the series. Taking the bronze medal of power is Overhaul. Overhaul is a B-rank villain who got the attention of All For One thanks to his quirk. He was able to disassemble and reassemble Rappa at least 5 times in mere moments. He destroyed Magna before she could strike him, and was even able to dodge one of Mirio's punches. He created the quirk-destroying bullet, and knew how to cover his tracks utilizing his quirk, showing his genius-level intellect. His greatest feats, however, are when he gets desperate, fusing with Shin Nimoto, and increasing his strength almost tenfold. He's able to overpower Sir Night-Eye, the former sidekick of All Might, and even manages to kill him. He then also fuses with Rikiya, becoming a giant monster that can destroy entire neighborhoods. If it wasn't for Eri allowing Midoriya to use 100% consistently, Overhaul may have won. But as it stands, Overhaul is now arrested and lost access to his quirk, thanks to Shigaraki and Compress. Overhaul's quirk is powerful enough to conquer the world, so it's a good thing that he can't use it anymore. The original villain, Tomura Shigaraki, takes the Silver Medal of Power. Shigaraki is an S-rank villain and the current leader of the League of Villains. He is canonically the second most dangerous villain in Japan due to his training at the hands of All For One and his highly destructive quirk. His quirk, Decay, allows him to completely disintegrate anything he places all 5 fingers upon, and it will spread through the body quickly unless the limb is amputated. He was powerful enough to fight Eraserhead for a short time, and able to hold down Midoriya with 4 fingers, who showed signs of struggle.
Nothing more than dust and powdered bone.
He can take a point-blank explosion from Bakugo and show little to no damage. He was fast enough to appear before Tsuyu without the young woman noticing, and even deduced what Aizawa's quirk was and how to beat it. He is very powerful and is slowly growing more powerful with each passing episode, but there is still one villain who is stronger. It shouldn't be a big surprise that the Gold Medal of Power goes to All For One. All For One is the only known SS-ranked villain, and is known to be the most dangerous villain in all of Japan. He has been around since the emergence of quirks, and is practically immortal and easily defeats most pro heroes. The main reason he ranks at the top is simply because of his quirk and his knowledge of how to use it. His quirk, All For One, allows him to steal a person's quirk and leave them quirkless, adding their quirk to his endless arsenal. He has at least 15 quirks, and we won't list them all, but he can fire condensed blasts of air, shoot black tentacle-like spines, and forcefully activate other people's quirks. He ruled Japan from the shadows for hundreds of years, and his mere presence left Izuku and company paralyzed in fear. All For One's massive quirks, his genius-level intellect, and his sphere of influence easily trumps everyone else on this list. But let us know in the comments section if you agree with our ranking, and tell us what we should cover next. Make sure to hit that notification bell for your daily dose of anime, and binge our Weak to Powerful playlist, where we break down who the most powerful characters are in your favorite anime. Thanks for watching.